So I haven't made a video in a very long time because, well, we've all been through huge embodiment changes. These are different type of transformations than we've been through in years past, at least for me. And it made sense why I needed to take a very long break. This space, me making videos, is a very personal, as you can imagine, a very intimate space, very vulnerable. And it's not even now, it's not something pleasant. It's not something that I look forward to doing. If there is no nudge, typically there's like a buildup of energy that is looking for expression, right? And for whatever reason, I learned that YouTube videos provide that exhalation, that completion. And as soon as I'm done with the YouTube, and it has to be uploaded, because many times I would take one and not upload it, and it was not completing it was not finalizing. So I haven't had that urge and to do it willingly, or urge, not urge. It's like sort of a little bit of an uncomfortable, really a pressure, a nagging. So today kind of landed because why make these videos, right? And I'm not saying it why from a nihilism type mindset. I'm saying it more from that our capacity is whatever our capacity is, and a lot of this wisdom has been already said, written about, rewritten about, looked at it from 500 different views. And we operate in the moment from a specific capacity. So wherever we're at, and it's more complex than that, right? There is willingness. What are you willing in that moment to do? What inspiration? There's a lot of stuff going into how do we behave in the moment? How do we participate? How do we interact, right? So it's like, why make more videos? Well, before, for me, it was about sharing, right? That information, how, because I really feel like we're these nodes into a big model, into a field, and we create the shape of the wave. We create the form of reality, right? Each of that node that we are, and we're not fixed, but we provide within space-time. We provide some type of anchoring, some type of stability or instability, right? And so it was very important to share information, because we all had one perspective, and it was easier. It was sort of soothing for us to have the information of what's happening, so that we can carry this global transformation easier if we have a more complete picture, right? So the craving of us listening to astrology or channeled material or tarot readings or whatever was nourishing. We were hungry for that. And now I needed a huge break, because that sharing was no longer enough for me. And as always, these videos are more about me than about whatever is happening, right? Because I don't know how these videos land or what outcome they could have, right? And so the point that I'm trying to make here, I know it's a long, windy road, is that today I understood that we are being called into a different type of participation, not just sharing information and us sort of, me too, I'm getting this as well, and I'm experiencing it like this, but we're literally called for participating in that wisdom because we have arrived into a saturation. I no longer am really interested in what's happening so much with the energy. That's still there, but not to the extent where that is nourishing to me and that is enough for me. So I'm sitting with this pressure, knowing that, oh, this is a video trying to form, wanting to come into expression, but I'm not, even myself, I'm not interested to just come into sharing of information, sharing of point of views, right? And provide this sort of energetic meteorologist uh, type video. So how do I make a participatory video? So the format is going to change a little bit. Instead of pulling cards, tarot is still uh, my love. The way I interact with the abstract, making it tangible, right? I have something that I can touch, and I interact with light in different color, right? And it still brings me a lot of creativity using cards. But I know this is just one form, right? And so, anyway, where I'm going with this is instead of reading the cards from an energetic perspective, I want to generate questions because the participation into this space, not just this video is just another form, right? But how do we enter this space that is trying to form, like it's literally creating the new environment for us to participate and is calling us to participate, and this is the practice. How do we train that we're not just observers of this energy, but we've had enough of observing and sort of asking who I am, who are we? With that information, I'm now ready to participate. And of course, this is the fire horse in motion. The solstice really opened those gates, blah, blah, blah. All of this is coming together. And this is yet another space for that, right? So I'm sitting with the energy and I feel like there's 3 questions. So I draw 3 cards. So I have 3 questions that these cards generate. And again, don't get fixated on the cards. The cards are nothing. Yet, I shouldn't say they're nothing. They point to a certain vicinity, right? This is what we're talking about. So the first card is the 3 of Swords. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And the question that I get with this is, when will this sorrow end? When will this conflict, this fight, this compromise, this compression, this suppression, this interference, this war, when will this end? And, this is very clear to me that this is not a question that the mind generates. This is a existential survival from our body, from our nervous system. It's asking, how much longer? Because really, I don't know if I can sustain this. And I want you to notice the space within your body. When you're asking that question and when you're present with yourself, notice how the point is to ask the question without rushing. It's not a race to come to the clearer answer. Like all of a sudden, clarity is not even the thing anymore, because presence is more. It's like more valuable now than me having the clarity that gets me to the next question, the next movement in my life. And this is definitely the Three of Swords is definitely that sorrow that we are now. It really feels final, right? Because it's like we've been in these shedding of identity, shedding of layer and layer and layer of attachment. And it generated a lot of entropy, right? Stagnated energy that hasn't quite exhaled, it hasn't quite completed and let go. And so it accumulated this Three of Swords, which Pamela Eakins, I love how she interprets the Three of Swords as this fruitful layer of foundation, or this fertile ground, right? Because that's where the seed goes for the next germination. And so, yes, it feels really yucky and the pressure is high, but it's not what it appears to be. I'm also hearing, as I say that, I'm also hearing with this question, stop giving me another point of reference. Our body is done looking at something from a different point of view as the solution, right? Because it's like, when I'm uncomfortable and when I'm hurting, because God, why I even say uncomfortable? When I'm in pain, do you think another point of view will solve me not being in pain? Like, that is so degrading. Do you think I haven't thought about few other points of view for you to come with another yet point of view? So yeah, don't even think about, right? The solution here is, don't even, one, before the solution arrives, stop with clarity that is not really real. It's like a packaged thing that I can chase another rabbit hole that gets me nowhere. This question, when will this end, is calling for presence that is individual, that is, damn it, I know I am my own teacher. I've read through so much point of views and models and have done all these different types of healing modality that I could be a facilitator. I could run my own workshop. So the question is, can you allow that which is you to come through as you, and not have it readily digestible. Allow the presence, allow enough space for the answer to come to you in a such personalized, matched way that it's not pre-digested by somebody else. Does that make sense? Of course, this is why I like tarot, because there is coherence. I don't have to think about the next question. The next question, the Page of Wands, layers to that first question, right? So that if the first question is, when will the suffering end? Because I don't know how much longer I can hold it. And then the next question is, oh, but by the way, you know that love for life, you know that living in the moment, being excited about life, right? Look at this card. When will that land? Because I've done all these things. I've done all these self-reflections, the healing, the practices, I don't know, everything. And yet I seem to be kind of circling around this love for life, this passion for living. When is this landing? Right? Because it was kind of like, sort of, nobody spelled it like that, but sort of, it was like, if you do all these things and you follow all these healings and modalities and facilitations and practices, you will be guaranteed to get to here. So where is it? And ooh, I actually feel more sorrow. Oh, there's more sorrow in this card than in this card. And I know why. Because this one, I'm actually well versed with this one. It holds more potential unlived energy than the first one, right? Oh, this one is complex. So stay with that question. When will my love for life land? These layers are complex because you've started these paths. You started many paths, but along the way, I feel you got diverted into an older path that's not authentic, a path that interfered. This is a game between you knowing yourself and feeling the pressure to still function in an environment that it's very narrow, right? You have to function specifically in a certain way for you to be accepted, for you to be loved, for you to be heard, for you to be all these things, right? And so there is confusion between, okay, I know myself now. I know what my needs are. I know how I function. Yet, when I start to go that way, it doesn't work. I'm not met. So my passion gets quenched, which pulled me into my third card, and because I'm already hearing it. The third card is the Queen of Cups, which says surrender. So I'm getting the melding. See, this is like, it's all one thing. So saying surrender to the path and it will be okay. But when I surrender, the environment that I am is not accepting of who I am, is not accepting of how I function, of how I need to function, and is responding with more constriction, with more suppression. So I get diverted into me having to do something a certain way. So what is the answer? The answer is this baby step participation, not arriving at this conclusion, not arriving to an answer immediately, but allowing and baby step participating, allowing myself that into an environment that maybe I can also shape. It's complex. And what's beautiful is if you're not participating in these questions, see, these questions are not, they're just providing a structure. They're not trying to get you to an answer as fast as possible. It's actually the opposite. It's like, how much time can you harness to give yourself to arrive to your answer that is specific and particular to you? And for that, okay, I'm going to share another layer. How I work now, I do this with myself. I create these questions, but then I put them in a worksheet. And I'm realizing, even with these cards, each question generated 3 other questions because their layer of consciousness, as I move through these spaces, they create the next level of fine tuning, of exploration that I can go and sit with myself, right? So I call them worksheets, but they're like this, like these cards. They're just nothing. But for my body and my nervous system, they create a contact point, a point of participation, a point of movement, a point of engagement where I can show my nervous system that by me interacting with this question is not abstract. It's tangible. I work with something real. The other thing that it keeps coming back, it is legitimate because it is on paper. it is a legitimate way for me to interact, for me to create, for me to develop, and whatever comes out of that worksheet, uh, it's reality. And so these worksheets are just kind of, they're weird of how they're literally creating a container. So it's, right, because it's not about the worksheet, it's not even about the question. Sometimes uh, I start with the question, and then it changes, it moves, and I keep changing the question, and then the answer morphs. So it's a living document. I just having laying around on the table on my desk, and I grab it, I sort of change the answer a little bit, or uh, the new question arises. So anyway, if you're wanting to sit with these 3 questions and go in the next layers of these questions from presence type participation, not answer seeking from the mind, then email me, reach out, mention which video you're referencing so I know which worksheet to send you. But I don't want to just make these worksheets readily available. I want intentionality behind the movement. I want participation. And so, and they're free because again, it's like I can't even assign value. The worksheets themselves have no value per se. It's, I can't stress this enough. It's what you make of them. And it takes practice, like with this video. This video is not static, right? These questions, I mean, I feel them in my body, right? I feel the energy moving throughout. And it's you practicing within yourself how that energy moves. So I realized that it does take a little bit of prerequisite. You have to have that type of self-inquiry and resilience to be able to stay with yourself long enough to be able to for the worksheets to land the way they already land for the people that I work with, and the way they land for myself. So if you don't have that, I can just imagine that the worksheets are just another questionnaire and they're empty. You're just chasing the answers, and that's not the point. But anyway, I would welcome participation through comments, through whatever, just for points of contact. And I wish you a beautiful time in this space.